Welcome back to ConsignPro training. We're in Module 5 today, and we're going to cover some of the more in-depth features within the Maintain Store screen that show you how to do things like set up the system for the initial use, customer rewards, customizing the system to best meet your needs are all handled under Maintain Store. So we're going to pop in there now. The Maintain Store screen, we covered in an earlier module. We talked about how to set up all of your store information on the Store Information tab. And the Store Terms tab, we had some more information about your markdowns, your split, your consignment period, your messages that appear on the bottom of receipts, things like that. One of the things I'd like to talk to you about today is go back to the store screen. We've got some buttons here on the right. We're going to go through each one of those buttons in a little bit more detail today. The first is going to be Maintain Lists. Under Maintain Lists, you're going to use this screen to set up your store for the first time. You're going to tell ConsignPro exactly what you sell in your store, and you're going to categorize that using 4 designations: type, description, size, and color. Those are the 4 designations that we use to identify inventory in your store. And if you don't like our names for those lists, type, description, size, and color on the left, you can rename those. So I'll give you an example. We can rename the type list brand. Some store owners like to do that, especially if they primarily sell clothing. When that renames brand, you'll see it on the right, and on the inventory screen, you'll also see brand instead of type. So you can rename any of our 4 lists here on the left, and when you're done renaming those or getting those exactly right, you're going to start adding or removing entries from each of the lists on the right. The first thing you're going to do is select the list you'd like to work with. In this case, we'll select the brand list. Now I've got a whole bunch of types in here. What I can do is remove all entries from this list. Clicking the Remove All button. All the entries have been removed from the brands list, and now if I click on this box where it says Add to Type List, I would prefer it actually if that said Add to Brand List. We'll get that corrected. I can start putting in brands in here. Just some I happen to know. And you'll notice our brand list is getting built over here on the right as we go. We can do that for each list, the descriptions, sizes, and colors. Now you might say, hey, I sell furniture in my store and size isn't an issue for me. I don't want to even see that size on my inventory screen. I can make that optional, and I can also remove it so that it doesn't appear on the screen at all when I add inventory to the system. You can make the brand, well in this case brand, it used to be type, description, size, and color list all optional. And you can remove size and color from the screen if you don't want people to have to enter those when adding inventory. The optional designation means that when I'm adding an item to the system, I don't need to add that particular field. The system will automatically default that field to the word none. Lastly on the screen, or towards the bottom, we've got some additional lists. The tag color is also on the Add Inventory screen, and you can use tag color if you've got color-coded tags in your store for your markdowns. You can set up your tag colors here. The system then can be changed or set up so that you can mark down particular colors of tags by particular percentages, and we'll see that a little later in this training. Payment types, this is the list of payment types you accept in your store. That appears on the Amount Due screen. We have in the default a cash, check, and credit card. You might add things like gift card. You could break down your payment types: MasterCard, Visa, Discover if you'd like. You could do any kind of payment. You could put a payment type of trade. Anything you want to categorize as having received payments by, you can add payment types to this list. Places I advertise also appears on the Amount Due screen, and you might want to see how your customers heard about you. We then have a marketing report or an advertising report over on the reports page, and you can see exactly how your customers are finding you. You can also make this required. Before somebody completes a sale, they would have to select how did you hear about me from the drop-down list before you're allowed to complete the sale. Other things on this screen that are interesting is the Flexible Terms checkbox. This box is used, if I click OK, to set up different terms for different types. So my default split percentage might be 50%, but for Levi's jeans, maybe I offer 60%. Or my consignment period on Levi's might be 60 days rather than 90. So this is a way to override what we've done in the maintain store screen for your split, your consignment period, and your markdown schedule, and even the tax rate as well. Override those things with a new set of defaults relating specifically to that type or brand. The next button will move you through the different brands you have in the system, and you can change anything if you'd like it to behave a little differently. We also have a box down here, only tax the amount exceeding. In some states, certain clothing below a certain amount is taxable. Clothing over a certain amount is not taxable, or vice versa. I think I said that backwards. So there's options on this screen. The important thing to know, options on the screen that'll override for a particular type how you set your maintain store screen up. I'll cancel from here, and we'll take a look at smart pricing. Under smart pricing, click on this big message that describes it. I can set up pricing for different things in the system by clicking set prices. I can say a cocktail dress is normally $69. The smart price for that might be $59, and the low price would be $39. Next time I add a cocktail dress to the system will prompt me with those prices. And you can set up smart pricing for each description you have in the system. And that will help not only you get consistent pricing out on your sales floor, but it'll help people that don't have that pricing knowledge that you have. It'll help you put that pricing knowledge from your head into the software with 3 prices for each description, so that anytime a description is added on the add inventory screen, that price guideline or that price information appears on the screen, and it allows you to price the item a little bit better. I'll close that window. And that kind of wraps up our list maintenance screen. Again, these are all lists in the system. They get set up by you usually when you set up the program. They can be changed at any time, and you can change the options at any time. Let's close out of here. And let's see. Let's take a look at our CustomizeCP screen quickly. The CustomizeCP screen has 3 tabs across the top, and it's used to set up your system. How you set up your printers, labels and tags, cash drawers, poll displays, these are all set using drop-down choices on the left. Now, if you don't know how to set these up, our user guide, page 135, has descriptions for adding all of this point of sale hardware to your system. And it helps you configure that hardware and to configure this screen as well. We also have on our website, under our POS hardware page, connections instructions there too. Store settings have to do with different checkboxes do different things in the system, and all of these are described fully in our user guide. There's a lot of information on this screen, and you'll want to kind of take a look at the user guide to see what each of these checkboxes does in the system. The SMS email alerts tab over here on the right allows you to set up text messages or emails to be sent to you at different times of the day or week when somebody does something in the system. So maybe you're not in the store 7 days a week, but on Sundays you don't work, but somebody does. You might want to say, send me an email to my email address on Sundays. Actually, I haven't set this up, so I'm probably not going to be able to use this right now. If it's set up correctly, then you can tell the system to do different things at different times. Email me sales information, let me know when somebody signs in or out, let me know when ConsignPro is shut down, send me an end-of-day summary report, and those can all go to your email address, or they can go to your cell phone as a text message. It's kind of a neat way to keep track of what's going on in the store, even though you're not there. And the reason this screen doesn't work is because, if I jump back to the menu, under Internet, Email CP Support, this is the first screen you'll want to set up. You need to set up your outgoing mail server and your port number. Once those get set up correctly, then all other emailing in the system will be set up, will be turned on. And our support team can either help you with that, or we've got some question marks over here. If you click on the question mark, it'll tell you exactly what you need to do to get your port and your outgoing mail server set up correctly. So today we covered, just to recap, a little bit on the maintain store screen. We looked at the maintain lists, a lot of stuff going on in there. We briefly touched on CustomizeCP. There's so much stuff in here that you'll probably want to just poke through the user guide to see how this stuff works. store settings, and the email alerts tab at the top as well. That concludes our 10 minutes for this training session. Join us again for Module 6. We'll cover more information on the Maintain Store screen, pick up where we left off.